오신 분들도 고생 많으셨고, 오늘 또 기념비적인 날이죠. 100명을 넘습니다, 팔로워가. 그래서 참 기억할 만한 날이고, 모두 고생하셨고, 모두 멋있게 계십시오. 고생하셨습니다. 이게 아니잖아.
베스천. 저는 일단은 베스천 세 개로 한국에서 스코어링 다 스피드런이 약간 좀 빠를 거예요. 제가 올라온 기록까지 사실 몰랐습니다. 지금 아마 스코어링도 지금 제가 당연히 좀더 풀이고 다 어려운데. 기본적으로 스토리를 안 하겠죠. 메인은 게임 스토리가 좀 데이트 게임 설정을 그런 게 많기 때문에 일단 스토리부터 하자. 대강 저는 스피드런 모드로 하지 않고 천천히 게임을 볼게요.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
하시면은
He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as if pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. In the calamity. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella. Forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Fella got a piece of him, though. An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do. Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him. Must have fled here from the mines. Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her. He sets foot inside one of Zealandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did. Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief. Clang. Shield saves his hide. Windbags start turning up for last call.
이제 아예 조준하게 끝나잖아. 역시 따라가는 그런 사과 같은 음식 마시면 촬영이
More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid. Them windbags are playing for keeps. Kid sees the way to the Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke.
마우스 오른쪽 버튼을 사용해서 손목님 모바일 총을 대신해서 발사할 수 있게.
Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back.
발사할 수 있는. 이 화살이 좀 움직여서 마우스의 특징이 너무 자기가 이동하는 방향이 솔직히 아마 이거는 키보드 조작에서는 제가 원하는 방향으로 볼수 있어요.
Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true.
저 빛날 때
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid.
이게 타이밍 맞추기 어렵거든요. 그래서 이거 타이밍 달라요.
Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He's a mighty fast learner. And then he falls to his death. I'm just fooling. He finds the distillery right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
체력이 10을 회복하는 스쿼드 사이다. 10% 확률 치명 타율 올려줄 수 있는 다만 체력이 꽉 차 있을 때만 사용할 수 있는 드레드럼. 그리고 근처에 있는 기르는 조각들을 흡수하는 패칭이즈. 네, 아무튼 이렇게 해서 세 가지 있는데 네, 아무나 껴셔도 돼요. 레벨 올라갈수록 더 많은 수를 얻을 수 있습니다.
The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
무기고는 이제 세 가지를 지정할 수 있어요. 첫 번째는 두 번째, 네, 그리고 세 번째는 이제 비밀스러운 것을 정할 수 있는데 제가 원하는 뭐 아무나 상관이 없어요. 뭔가를 그냥 두개 끼셔도 됩니다. 상관이 없어요. 다음은 다 망치가 없을 경우에 이런 망치 전용 기술, 여기 그림을 보시면 망치 전용 기술이라는 게 나와 있어요. 기술 손모님 말심총의 기술. 꽉 찬 상태에서 저걸 먹게 되면 저는 굉장히 괜찮으시죠.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
저는 맨 처음에 이 게임을 세상 들었어요.
An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now.
세계가 꺾인 상태에서 피가 약간 없어서 마시면
Right back at you. Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did. Bad time to run out of black tonic. Kid puts him out of his misery. Robs a scumbag of his last meal. He finds the core to the wharf district. He steals the city's heart. Might as well. Kid has a feeling he better get a move on. The place is starting to fall. See, that core Kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. Kid just keeps running. At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where he needs to go.
자, 원하는 곳으로 이동할 수 있게 됩니다.
Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive?
길을 따라가시면
Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell.
뭐 여러 가지에 대해서 의논할 수 있어요. 뭐 도시 부분이나 뭐 크리스탈 와 상관이 없어요. 크리스탈 그래서 말하게 되면 뭐 그거에 대해서 설명을 하는 포인트가 있는데 저는 지금 하고 싶어요. 자, 이제 코어를 이제 모임 특히 합니다.
And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again. Growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid ponders what to build. Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply.
죽다가 죽은 다음에 살아나면은 근처에 있는 동작이 데미지 필 위스키 많이 쓰이는 자신의 체력이 30% 치명타 능력 이게 스피드런이나 뭐 빠르게 뭘 잡는 데 있어서 굉장히 중요해요. 많이 쓰게 됩니다. 신더블 엑스타운트 이 속도가 30분 증가하는 방어도 이 속도 증가하죠. 저 같은
Where whiskey has no scent, but tastes like a peppered boot heel, it's not for everyone. Kid don't know what's out there waiting for him. The Skyway. Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands.
한계자의 막사 이곳은 이제 훈련장이라는 곳이에요. 포밍이라고 하는 이제 이 후기에 관련된 훈련을 할 수 있습니다. 나중에 한번 스토리 진행을
The workman ward. Them windbags used to keep the city humming along here.
작정하자 나레이터라고 부르죠. 말해주게 되는데 지도를 보아하니까 꽤나 넓은 세계관인 것 같아요. 사실 저는 이런 세계관을 좋아하기 때문에 꽤나 넓은 세계관이 대륙도 좀 잘 만들었네요.
Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one?
이제 쪽끼리 이제 커가 있는지 말이지만 여러 군데서 이제 아이템을 이렇게 얻을 수 있게 되면 이쪽으로
He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no field trip this time. Scumbag can digest just about anything. Except for this. It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw. They say even the most rambunctious squirts can be tamed. No sign of the core here. At least the kid got something for his trouble. Them squirts just don't know when to quit. Squirts don't make the best of friends, but they can be useful in a pinch.
귀엽다라는 표현할 말이 없어. 간에 있는 파운데이션으로 재밌게 붙이죠.
He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge. Somehow that old forge is still standing. Inside the forge, Kid can fine-tune those instruments of his.
슬릿지 헤드, 배틀을 다했는데 데미지 50% 증가시켜주는 킬의 망치만 이거는 치명타 확률을 10% 증가시켜주는 전 지금 킬의 망치를 장착하고 있지 않기 때문에 던지고 뭔가 줄 같은 화살을 당기는 속도가 20% 증가하는 스피드 스트림과
core ain't here neither, so he's gotta guess again. He heads for the biggest dump in town, Scumbag Alley. Some scumbag still feeding off the city's own trash. And there he is, the oldest scumbag of them all, Gershel. The calamity ain't done much for Gershel's sunny disposition. They always said old Gershel wouldn't go without a fight. No core, no surprise. Like the gas fellas are hiding it from him.
두 가지가 역시 존재하죠. 치명타운 매니지먼트와 그다음에 던질 때 추가적인 나가는데
The little Zolwood oil and that blade shines like a light.
마체테를 계속 보고 있으면 던질 추천하는 역시나 파워샤거든요. 이렇게 던졌을 때 추가
Up north is where the gas fella foreman used to live, tending to his flock. No white gas fellas all dress alike. Kid wonders the same thing. Keeps telling himself he better watch his step. And there it is, but it's locked down tight in an alloy
이제 여기
cage.
코어가 있지 않는데 기다려 보시면
A blustery old foreman's keeping his fellas in check, almost like he's showboating for the crowd. And now there's a new marshal in town. He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. Kid's ready to go, and his ticket out's right where he started. He comes back, just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we
를
build next.
클리어했습니다. 두 번째 건물도 뭘지 생각해볼게요. 호시하고 아스널인데요. 아스널 먼저 찍겠습니다.
The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to.
새로운 기술이죠. 이러주의 거울 방대라는 웨이트 페이머스 스펙타클러 소머리 법정에서 놀라운 모습을 보여줘가지고 유명해졌다 그런 얘기인 것 같아요. 소머리 법정이라고 얘기 나중에 나오는데 방어적인 기술.
The repeater and machete, favorite choices of the Ura hunters we once fought. Picked up traces of other cores while the kid was out.
운동 같은 경우에 사실 좀 처음 하시는 분들이 대부분 좀 어려워하세요. 이제 좀 저도 좀 싫어요 이 곳을. 재밌는 곳이긴 한데 저는 맨 처음에 정말 좋아했어요 저 곳을.
In better days, the melting pot was sealed tighter than the skin on a squirt. Of all the plans to survive the calamity, it had to be stabweeds.
이곳에서 이제 세관 같은 것도 보여줘야 될것 같아요. 재앙이 나오고 딱 전까지. 이 재앙이 관련된 동물 많은 거 천천히 풀어볼까?
If there's a core, he figures it ought to be deeper down.
계단 아래로 구두 광장 쪽에 아마 이
Core's stuck inside one of those fancy cages.
케이지에 갇혀 있다.
No breaking a cage like that, but the kid tries anyway. Gotta find a way to spring it open. He throws a switch. Now what could possibly go wrong? Quite a bit, as it turns out. The cage starts lifting from the core ever so slow. All kid can do is wait. Shipments start falling in. Not every squirt's born bad. Some spring to the kid's defense. Judging by the movement of the cage, it's gonna take a little while. Scumbags don't take kindly to interlopers. Even some gas fellas take his corner. Heard he popped that mean old foreman. At this rate, maybe 5 more minutes, maybe 30. Hard to tell. Squirts get real territorial around the core. Then a shipment of free samples shows up. Some of the stuff lying around is downright dangerous. It ain't all bad, as the kid finds some spices in the motherland. Tax-free. One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy. It's a troublesome scene to be sure. Moments left, and the core goes free. 10, 9, 8, 7. You give or take a few seconds. Finally, the core's within reach. And done. He's got it. Just gotta get to the nearest barge.
제가 나중에 베스천 소개 방송뿐만이 아니라 제가 나중에 베스천에
I still remember the look on his face after that one. The old world's finished, but the new world's just getting started.
베스천이라는 이 마을을 다시
A lot of things need fixing up in this world, and we can start right here. Turns out those old bones still have some spark in them. Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure though. Somebody gets to the core before the kid. The floor starts giving way under the lighter's step. A single panic squirt to bring the whole place down. Fragments of the old world rain from the sky. Stray valuables are lying everywhere. Kid thinks twice about risking his eye for a well, the path ain't exactly open to visitors no more. Security is all fired up. Quick and careful is the only way to go. See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such. Not so much for noise and tomfoolery. Sky bridges put the path together. One of them bridges whips the kid along. Finds a spyglass, like the ones they'd use to search the stars. The calamity changed everything, even where the wind blows. Well, if we mastered the winds in the old days, we can do it again. Who else could have taken the core? Well, ain't no survivor stole the thing. Scumbag ate it by mistake. No, they used to ship live munitions down the path. Find time to find them. Wires to toss those things plenty far away. Even gas fellas need some shut-eye from time to time. They get real cranky when you wake them up. In all this toil, Kid keeps coming back to an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? So we didn't find the core that time, but that ain't about to stop us. Can't be too careful these days. The dead welcome him with open arms. The calamity took everybody after all. Kid sees it plain, frozen faces all around. These folks never saw the calamity coming, but someone did. Someone close.
스피드런 하나 저기서 떨어지네.
It was someone like him. It's a snag or two trying to get to him. He ain't about to stop, no matter what. He's got so many questions after all. Just ain't got time for answers. The Thunder Brothers didn't make it. Nor did the Bird Boy. Didn't make it. The Jawsons, they didn't make it. Grady Sr., Grady Jr., they didn't make it. But him, he survived. Kid finds proof enough that man ain't from around here. Just think, without that man, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? Kid does what he has to do. And then, what do you say to a man who's seen too much? Kid hasn't a clue, but he says this. We have to go. Please.
궁금한 게 많을 테지만 우리 지금 당장 가야 한다고. 코어를 뺏었기 때문에 이제 곧 무너질 수도 있고 불안정해지기 때문에 코어는 이제 그
He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Zolf. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Ceylondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other for the first time. The cores, they remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be alright. Well, look what we have here. The memorial. Here, a kid can pay respect to the old world and earn it in kind.
이렇게 해가지고 그거에 대한 이제 보상을 받을 수 있게 되는 거죠. 리워드와 퀘스트를 이제 기념비라는 것을 해가지고 처음에 눌러보면
The valediction. Just another one of my sketches. Nothing more. Words can't express what happened, but they're all I got. We tracked down a couple more cores near the edge of the city.
자유입니다. 어디 가든지. 저는
No use praying to the gods these days. No time for it either. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, the bull. Well, the gods are long gone now. And the Orchard Core is long gone too. gods don't care about trinkets, but the kid ain't no god.
주인이 있는 데
Pith stood for something once, something real. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. The gods ain't gonna catch you if you fall. Pith makes a decent scarecrow, at least. Then Pith lights up like a rodeo. Ain't easy punching through his hide. Kid breaks him to bits. Must have been guarding that shrine. So what'll it be? Invoke the gods? Or tell them off?
이 게임은 10가지 신이 있어요. 댄스, 아커비, 리메인, 피스, 자벨, 가무트, 올락, 리시카, 로투스, 욕, 릭, 야드리드, 베라토. 하지만 이 신들의 이름을 딴 맵들도 몇 가지 보여지가 되거든요. 피스의 노션이 피스, 질서, 노션의 신. 이게 이런 신들 이게 디자인이 됐었어요.
Pith.
적들이 당해져. 적들은 좀 빨리 움직일 것이다. 대한 조건. 길이는 좋은 들과 그다음에 경제 심판성 할수 있는 거죠. 좀 할수 있는 싫어요. 그럴 수 있어요.
Kid decides to press his luck. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Kid ain't never seen windbags that quick. Maybe old Pith put a scare in him. Passes Pith's trial, and he's richer for it. Kid ain't found a core, but at least he found Zolf's precious shrine, Pith Orchard. Place is a dead end in more ways than one. Now we can build a shrine of our own, though I got some alternatives in mind. Zolf doesn't touch the thing. Says the god of commotion is no children's toy. The Gravers, the arm of justice. They seemed unstoppable. There's only one way in the cinder brick fort. The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. The calamity was mercy for normal folks. The windbags ain't so lucky. They've been left to freeze or starve or face the kid. Wham! Kid's ready for the windbags this time. Well, windbags young and old keep fighting for the fort. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Something the windbags just can't handle. Something that'll punch clean through their greasy hides. Windbags ain't much different from normal folks. All they want's a warm place to stay and a decent meal. A lot of them wound up here in this very fort. Could have been minding the business underground like in the old days. Windbags can't use the marshal supplies, but the kid sure can. As for the windbags, Cinderbrick gave them enough heat and metal to munch on for a while. But the fort ain't theirs by right. Can't blame them for wanting it, though. So many of those sorry things hold up inside that old fort. Kid's blasting everything in sight with that newfangled musket. Kid's stash of grenades is there for him if things get even worse. Security's plane gone haywire. Windbags gummed up the works. They trapped the kid in the middle of the fort's parade grounds. Bring out Glutus and Glandon and all their scumbag uncles. They got something to gain and only their sorry hides to lose. The other big fella soon joins his brother, wherever they are now. The windbags finally get the message. Kid used to dream of getting a marshal's badge, but not like this. And now ain't nothing left for nobody down at Cinderbrick Fort.
싱더백 포트 당분 없다고 하네요.
Kid shows up just as Zolf's telling me about his own journey to the city. Zolf brought his antique smoking pipe all the way from the terminals.
아무도 모르는 곳을 갈 수 있는 방법은 뒤에 저기 있는
Zolf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this.
사람들이나 아니면 따라가서 가져왔어요. 기본소개냐? 그거 스코어링
Anything survives a musket shot ought to be quick work for that blade.
일단 이렇게 끼고 뭐지 샤이나 로스트 꺼낼 수 있는데 샤이나 꺼낼 수 있으니까 샤이나 제가 어렵기만 좋아해서
Behold, the Pantheon.
야코비 같은 경우에는 이제 좀 정말
A Kobe.
터득하게 하면서 확실히 많이 붙었다. 이제 적들이 죽으면은 술탄 같은 거 있는데 매우 아파요.
The gods never liked competing for people's affections. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. She'll send some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. The security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. At least she picked a good spot for a break, 'cause the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. Peckers. He takes a hard hit, but he ain't finished.
저 새들을 죽어서 경험이 있으시죠.
They had their own eyes on the core. Why? Well, kid ain't got time to think it over just yet. He finds Weeping Nelly wherever he goes. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. She's gonna need a little help with all them peckers. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming, starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. The windbags get an even better idea. They aim to smash Weeping Nelly to splinters. They don't know the kid's just trying to help, or maybe they don't care. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nelly.
제가 이제 볼 수가 없죠.
She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nelly gets the kid in solid ground. Solid ground in Pecker country. They want that core real bad. Seems the calamity ain't hurt the Peckers' appetites. Kid shoos them off, knowing they'll be back. Not even once. Now, listen close. You should remember this next part.
네, 배에서 이제 안 떨어지면 몇 번 떨어졌는지 말 안 해주죠. 안 떨어졌어.
Why go to Prosper Bluff?
프로스퍼 블로퍼라는 곳인데 굉장히 어려워요.
Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far.
세상을 좋아하죠.
The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? There the kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while.
노래를 부르는 것도
How's it go again?
모른 척하기도 힘들다.
Yeah, that's the one.
스피드런 하려고 했을까요? 게임을 즐기면서 사실 이런 건 다 스피드런 되는 게 다 스킵을 할 수 있어요. 이쪽으로 갔다 이쪽으로 갔다 다시. 이렇게 막 진행해야 돼요. 이쪽도 그렇죠. 이쪽으로 하는 게 아니에요. 사실 이 문을 열어야 되는데 이 문을 열어야 되는데 사실 이렇게 진행을 하면
Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes. They'll be here before too long.
이쪽으로 오게 될 거라는데.
We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow or again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people.
이 정도로 제가 마무리할게요. 일단 지금까지
But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either.
아마 지하도 유라인 같죠? 네, 유라인 2명, 세논디아인 2명 이렇게 해가지고 완전 얘한테 말 걸면은 제가 뭐 하나 놓쳤나요?
The windbags used to be alright. Then the Calamity took the floor out
이
from
말
under
걸면
him.
방랑 키울 수 있고요. 네, 그 정도는 네, 여기까지. 아 마지막으로 네, 부심을 모아서 뭐 하는 건지 알아.
The lost and found. Yeah, kid takes fragments of the old world
스킵했던
and makes them
거,
whole again.
주웠던 것 같은 걸 사거나 아니면 몇 가지 할 수가 있는데 우상, 네 이런 이제 사원에 있는 우상, 그 다음에 뭐 술들, 그다음에 업그레이드가 가능한 아이템들, 뭐 그다음에 기술들을 살 수 있어요. 제가 전에 놓쳤던 것도 있는데 저는 지금까지 놓친 게 없으니까 한번 이제 신들 좀 볼게요. 이제 아이돌 그러니까 우상들을 좀 보면 우상들
All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new.
사겠습니다. 업그레이드는 지금 굳이 살 필요가 없어요. 사원 한번 새로 들어오는데 자벨 체력과 아스트로피의 신이라는데 불균형이 아무튼 적들은 이제 체력을 회복해요. 네, 적들은 이제 체력을 회복하고 그 다음에 좀 더 아토카의 공격을 할 것이다. 뭐 그런 것 같아요. 기쁨과 고통의 신이죠. 이 상반되는 건 사실 다 그거라는 그런 일종의 믿음이 있어요. 이 게임에 있는 사람들에게 고통과 기쁨 뭐 그런 거 있잖아요. 질서 불질서 맞는 것과 틀린 것 뭐 그런 게 다 계약과 배반의 신이라고 해야 되나? 네 그렇게 번역하는 거죠. 네 아무튼 그런 식으로 서약이 좀 있으면 그런 식으로 이제 그거 다 연결된 것이라고 생각하는 그런 게 있는 것 같아요. 그리고 때문에 우상이고 상들한테 보면 이게 뭐야? 잡을 이게 뭘까? 황소리 이런 저거 뭐야? 사슬이 뭐 이런 장면들 이건 뭔지를 모르겠어요. 진짜 뭐 아무튼 사슬을 수준 볼게요. 배션 버번 체력 강력대가 체력 채워주는 게 2개 더 많아지고 그 다음에 체력을 완전히 다 채워주죠. 런캐드 리코드는 이제 카운터 시에 이제 공격력을 더 증가시켜주는 거고 그건 아까 보셨고 그 다음에 고래주 같은 경우에 이제 비밀스러운 기술의 공격력을 증가시키고 이제 바늘주 같은 경우에는 자동적으로 공격을 할 때 바늘로 반격을 합니다. 저 같은 경우는 지금은 딱히 킬게 없긴 해요.
Now, whale ale ain't made from real whale, but it'll make you strong like one.
네, 이제 앞부분은 이제 여기까지 1부는 여기까지고 이제 그 다음부터는 이제 배션 마지막 코어를 향한 여행 펼쳐질 겁니다 아마 제가 스포일 없이
Seems the only thing the Calamity saved
담배
for
때
Zolf
만지면 이렇게
was
돼요.
a smoking
네.
pipe.